your vote!
Is that the way to talk about a man's life?
Whose life are you talking about? The life of the dead man or the life of a murderer?
I want to know who.
So do I.
Excuse me. This was a secret ballot.
No one looked while we did it, but now I want to know.
A secret ballot? We all agreed on this now? What if they wanted to keep a secret?
What do you mean? There are no secrets in here. I know who it was. What is the matter with you? You come in here and you vote guilty. And then this slick cookie starts tearing your heart out about a poor little boy who couldn't help becoming a murderer. So you change your vote. If that isn't the most sickening thing.
Now hold it.
Look, I agree with you that the boy is guilty, but let's try to be fair.
Hold it. Be fair. That's just what I'm saying. We're trying to put a guilty man into the chair where he belongs. And suddenly, we're paying attention to fairy tales!
Just a minute!
Now you listen to me! I've got a thing to say! You messed up this whole thing! I have a club for you right here and now!
Let's keep this organized.
Organized? Organized? This isn't organized by a long shot, but let's at least try to keep it civilized.
Let's at least keep to the subject. I want to know, why did you change your vote?
I want to know too. You haven't told us yet.
Why do you think I did change my vote?
Because I do. Now get on with it.
There's nothing for him to tell. He didn't change his vote. I did.
Well, I was going to tell you, but you were so sure of yourself.
Sorry. Now listen.
Perhaps you'd like to know why.
Let me tell you why that
The
boy's...
gentleman wants to talk.
Thank you. This lady chose not to stand against us. That's her right. She left the verdict up to us. She gambled for support. I gave it to her. I want to hear more. The vote is 10 to 2.
Well, that's fine. If your speech is over, let's move on.
If there was one thing in that boy's favor, you know, I'd vote not guilty.
I don't know what it would be.
Neither do I. They're clutching at straws.
He's as guilty as they come, I guess, that boy.
It's that one juror. She's holding everything up. But she'll come around. She's got to. Fundamentally, she's a reasonable person.
I guess so.
They haven't come up with any one single piece of evidence yet to back up a not guilty verdict.
But that's hard to do.
Yes, it is. And what does guilty beyond a reasonable doubt really mean?
Well, what's a reasonable doubt?
Exactly. When a life's at stake, what is reasonable doubt? You gotta have law and order. You gotta draw the line somewhere. Otherwise, people just go out and knife everybody.
No doubt here.
Well, it seems to be with at least 2 of our jurors. I wonder why. I really wonder why.
Well, you know, though, sometimes you hear about innocent men who have been sent to prison or to their deaths sometimes, and then years later, things come up.
Sure. On the other hand, though, you hear about people getting turned loose on a technicality and they go out and they kill again. They squeeze out on some sort of loophole or some sort of technicality and they go right out and they kill again.
Now that we've calmed down, I was a little excited a moment ago. You know how it is. I didn't mean to get nasty. It's nothing personal.
Think nothing of it.
So, hey, let me ask you this. If the boy didn't kill his father, who did?
As far as I know, we're supposed to decide whether or not the boy on trial is guilty. We're not concerned with anyone else's motives here.
Yeah, but who else had a motive?
The boy's father was along in years, maybe an old grudge.
Remember, it's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This is a very important point.
Everyone's a lawyer. Well, suppose you can tell us what your reasonable doubts are. No, I don't.
A feeling? We're gonna spend the rest of the night talking about your feelings? What about the facts?
You took the words right out of my mouth. Look, the old man who lived underneath the apartment heard the boy say, "I'm going to kill you." Then a second later, he hears the father's body falling. Then he runs to his door 15 seconds after that and sees the boy running down the stairs and out the house.
Where's a reasonable doubt in that?
That's right. And let's not forget the woman across the street. She looked into the open window and saw the boy stab his father. She saw it.
Now, that's not enough for you.
It's not enough for me.
Well, what is enough for you? I'd like to know.
How do you like this lady? It's like talking to a dead cow.
Look, the woman saw the killing through the windows of an elevated train. The train had 5 cars on it. She was able to look through the windows of the last 2 cars and see everything. She remembers the most insignificant details.
Well, what have you got to say about that?
I don't know. It doesn't sound right to me.
What's supposing you to think about it then?
All right. How long does it take an elevated train going at top speed to pass a given point?
What has that got to do with anything?
How long would it take? Guess.
I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
Neither would I.
Nobody mentioned it.
What do you think?
About 10 or 12 seconds, maybe.
I say that was a fair guess. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think 10 seconds. For 10 seconds, I'd say yes.
So what are you getting at here?
This. An elevated train passes a given point in 10 seconds. That point is the window of the room in which the murder took place. You can almost reach out of the window of that room and touch the L, right?
That's right, I tried it.
So,
Now let me ask you this. Has anybody here ever lived next to the L tracks?
I live next to them.
They make a lot of noise, don't they? I've lived right next to the L. When your window is open and the train passes by, the noise is almost unbearable. You can't hear yourself think.
Oh, you can't hear yourself think. Get to the point.
The old man downstairs heard the boy say,
He didn't say it. He screamed it.
the old man heard the boy scream, "I'm going to kill you." And then 1 second later, he heard the body fall, right? That's the testimony?
right.
That's what he said.
The woman across the street looked through the windows of the last 2 cars of the L and saw the body fall, right?
Right.
The last 2 cars. The last 2 cars.
What are you giving us here?
An L train takes 10 seconds to pass a given point, or 2 seconds per car. That L train had been going past the old man's window for 6 seconds, or maybe more, before the body fell, according to the woman. The old man would have had to hear the boy say, "I'm going to kill you," while the front of the L was roaring past his nose. It's not possible that he could have heard it.
What do you mean? Sure he could have heard it.
With an L train going by,
He said the boy screamed it out.
an L train makes a lot of noise.
It's enough for me.
It's enough for me, too.
I don't think he could have heard.
Well, maybe the old man didn't.
What are you saying? Are you calling the old man a liar? Is anyone here calling the old man a liar?
This doesn't make sense.
Well, it stands to reason.
You're crazy. Why would he have lied? What has he got to gain?
Attention,
Come on.
maybe.
You keep coming up with these bright sayings. Why don't you send one into the newspaper? I hear they pay $50.
What does that have to do with a man's life? Why might the old man have lied? You have a right to be heard.
It's just, I looked at him for a very long time. The seam of his jacket was torn under the arm. Did you notice that? This is a very old man with a torn jacket, and he carried 2 canes. I think I know this man better than anyone here. This is a quiet, frightened, and insignificant old man who's been nothing all his life. Never had recognition, his name in the newspaper. No one knows him after 75 years. This is a very sad thing. This man needs to be recognized, to be questioned, to be listened to be quoted just once. This is very important.
And you're trying to tell us he lied about a thing like this just so he could be important?
No, he wouldn't really lie. But perhaps he would make himself believe that he heard those words and that he recognized the boy's face.
Well, that's the most fantastic story I've ever heard. How can you make up a thing like that?
I'm not making this up.
You must be making it up. People don't lie about things like that.
No, he made himself believe that he told the truth.
What would you know about it?
I speak from experience.
Is there anything else?
Cough drop is
No, thank you. Come on, let's get on with this.
I'll take it. All right, there's something else I'd like to point out here. I think we proved that the old man couldn't have heard the boy say, "I'm going to kill you."
Well, I disagree.
But,
Let's hear her through anyway.
but suppose the old man really did hear the boy say, "I'm going to kill you." That phrase, how many times has each of you used it? Probably hundreds. You do that once more, Junior, I'll murder you. Or somebody else, "Come on, Rocky, kill him." We say it every day. That doesn't mean we're actually going to kill someone.
Yeah, but don't the circumstances alter that somewhat?
The old man was murdered.
And another thing. The phrase was, "I'm going to kill you." And it was shouted out at the top of his lungs.
That's the way I understood it.
Now, don't try and tell me that someone who says a thing like that, the way he said it, doesn't mean it.
And how they mean it.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you really think the boy would yell out a thing like that so that the whole neighborhood could hear him? I don't think so. He's much too bright for that.
Right? He's a common ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English.
He doesn't even speak good English.
The boy is clever enough.
I'd like to change my vote to not guilty.
Sure.
Yes, I'm sure.
So votes 9-3 in favor of guilty.
I'd like to know why you changed your vote.
I think there's a doubt.
Where? What is the doubt?
Well, there's a knife.
Ah, fine. She's got you believing in a fairy tale.
Go on, give us your reasons.
Well, the old man too. Maybe he didn't lie, but then just maybe he did. Maybe the old man doesn't like the boy.
Ah, what are you basing it on? Stories that this woman made up? You know, she should write for Amazing Detectives Monthly. She'd make a fortune. Listen, the boy had a lawyer, didn't he? Why did his lawyer bring up these points?
Lawyers can't think of everything.
Ah, come on. And you keep making up these stories out of thin air. Now you want us to believe that the old man didn't get up, run to the window, and see the boy running down the stairs 15 seconds after the shooting.
That's the testimony, I believe.
But the old man swore to this. He swore to it. Oh, only so he could be important.
Did the old man say he ran to the door?
Ah, ran walk. What's the difference he got there?
I don't remember what was said, but I don't see how he could run.
He went. I remember it now. He said he went to the front door. Now that's enough, isn't it?
Where was his bedroom again?
Oh, down the hall somewhere.
Down the hall. Are we to send a man off to die because it's down the hall somewhere?
I thought you remembered everything. Don't you remember that?
No, I don't.
I don't remember either.
Mr. Foreman, I'd like to see the diagram of the apartment.
Oh, you know, why don't we just run the whole trial over again so that you can get your facts straight?
The bedroom is down the hall somewhere. Do you know? Do you know exactly where it was? Please, a boy's life may depend on it. Do you know?
No.
Mr. Foreman?
I heard you.
All right. What's this one for? How come you're the only one in the room that wants to see exhibits all the time?
I want to see this one too.
So do I.
And I want to stop wasting time.
Oh, are we going to start wading through all that nonsense about where the body was found?
No, we're not. We're going to find out how an old man who's had 2 strokes in the past 3 years and walked with a pair of canes could get to his front door in 15 seconds.
He said 20 seconds.
No, they said 15.
How does he know how long 15 seconds is? You can't judge a thing like that.
He said 15. He was very positive about it.
He was an old man. You could see that. Half the time he was confused. How could he be sure about anything? You know.
No, I don't know. Maybe you know.
Is what you're waiting for?
Yes, thank you. You want them?
Yes, please.
Do me a favor and somebody wake me up when this is over.
I looked at that for 2 hours. Enough is enough.
She has a right. Go ahead.
All right. This is the apartment in which the killing took place. The old man's apartment is directly beneath it and exactly the same. There's a bedroom, another bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, dining room, living room. Here's the hall. Here's the front door of the apartment, and here are the stairs. Now, the old man was in bed in this room. He says he got up, went out into the hall, down the hall to the front door, and opened it and looked out just in time to see the boy racing down the stairs. Am I right?
Right.
That's what happened.
15 seconds after the body fell. The bed is at the window. It's 12 feet from the bed to the bedroom door. It's 43 feet 6 inches down the length of the hall. The old man would have had to get up out of bed, get his canes, walk 12 feet, open the bedroom door, walk 43 feet, and open the front door all in 15 seconds. Do you think this is possible?
You know, it's possible.
I don't see why not.
He would have been in a hurry. He did hear the scream.
The old man could only walk very slowly. They had to help him in the witness chair.
You make it sound like it's a long walk. It isn't.
For an old man who uses a cane, it's a long walk.
What are you doing?
I want to try this thing. Let's see how long it took him. This will be his bed. And I'm going to pace off 12 feet, the length of the bedroom.
You're crazy. You can't reconstruct a thing like that.
All right. Hand me a chair, please. Now this is the bedroom door. How far would you say it is from here to the door of this room?
Oh, like 20 feet.
Okay, that's close enough. So from here to the door and back is 40 feet. That's shorter than the length of the hallway that the old man had to move through. Isn't that so?
A few feet, maybe.
But this is absolutely insane. What makes her think she can do this?
Oh, we can't stop her.
Do you mind if I try it? According to you, it will only take 15 seconds. We can spare that.
It's foolish, but just go ahead.
Let her do it.
Who's got to watch for the second beat? I do. When you want me to start, slap the table. That'll be the body falling.
I'll time you from that.
Yes, yes. And let's say the old man keeps his canes at his bedside. All right, I'm ready.
Want to wait till the second hand gets to 60.
Go. Speed it up. Walk twice as fast as that.
Something even faster than the old man walked in the courtroom.
No, it isn't.
If you want me to speed it up, I will.
Speed it up a little.
Stop. Okay, that's what's the time?
15, 25, 35, 39 seconds.
That can't be!
Well, that's interesting. And the old man swore on his oath that it was only 15 seconds.
She may have been awfully big on the street that the old man walked, but still, 24 seconds difference?
Yeah, well, far be it from me to call anyone a liar. But even allowing for quite a bit of difference in speed between the old man and you, still, there's
Quite a discrepancy.
It's my guess that the old man was trying to reach her front door, heard someone racing down the stairs, and assumed it was the boy.
assumed?
I think that's possible.
Now listen to me, everyone. I've heard a lot of dishonesty in my day, but this little display takes the cake.
What dishonesty?
Tell her! You come in here with your heart bleeding all over the floor about these slums and injustice, and you've got a couple of soft-hearted fools listening to you. Well, I'm not. I'm sick of it all. What is the matter with you people? This boy is guilty. He has got to burn. We are letting him slip through our fingers.
Our fingers? Are you his executioner?
I'm one of them.
Perhaps you'd like to pull the switch.
Don't start with me.
I feel sorry for you.
Shut up.
What it must feel like to want to pull the switch.
Shut up!
You're a sadist. You want to see this boy die because it would satisfy you personally, not because of the facts. You disgust me.
Will you shut up? Let me go. I'll kill her. I'll kill her.
You don't really mean you'll kill me, do you?
What's going on? Something wrong? I heard noise.
No, there's nothing wrong. You can take that back. We're finished with it.
What are you looking at?
I don't see why we have to behave like children.
Neither do I. This is a remarkable thing about democracy, that we are, what's the word, notified. That we are notified by mail to come down to this place and decide on the guilt or innocence of another person. A man or woman we have not met before. We have nothing to gain or lose by our verdict. This is one of the reasons why we are strong. We should not make it a personal thing.
Thank you very much.
Why do you think?
We forget. It's good to be reminded.
I'm glad that at long last we are going to be civilized about this.
Oh, we're still nowhere.
No, we're somewhere. We're getting there, Amy.
Maybe.
Who's got an idea?
Maybe we should call for another vote. Mr. Foreman?
It's okay by me. Anybody doesn't want to vote?
Let's vote.
I want an open ballot. We call our votes. I want to know who stands where.
Well, that sounds fair enough. I'll call off our jury numbers. I vote guilty. Number 2,
Not guilty.
3,
Guilty.
4,
Guilty.
5,
Not guilty.
6,
Not guilty.
7,
Guilty.
8,
Not guilty.
9,
Not guilty.
10,
Guilty.
11,
Not guilty.
12,
Guilty.
6 to 6.
I'll tell you, the crime is being committed right here in this room.
I'm ready to walk in the court right now and declare this a hung jury. There's no point in going on any further.
I want to know why you changed your mind. Why did you vote not guilty? I'd like to know why you changed your mind and why you did. There are at least 6 of your fellow jurors here who think we may be turning a murderer loose. Emotions simply will not do.
Vote 6 to 6. I don't think we'll ever agree on anything.
It has got to be unanimous, and we're never going to convince her.
At first I was alone. Now 5 others agree. There is a doubt.
You can't ever convince me that there is doubt, because I know that there isn't no doubt.
I'll tell you what, maybe we are a hung jury. It happens sometimes.
We're not going to be a hung jury.
We are now, though. Look, it's a perfect balance. Let's just take it to the judge.
If there's a reasonable doubt, I don't see it.
The man asked me a while ago what my opinion was. It would seem that the old man did not see his wife run downstairs. I do not think it likely that the old man heard, "I'm going to kill you." Old man dreamed. And if the boy did scream he was going to kill, then we have the authority at him to prove that it might not really mean he's going to kill.
So again, why don't we just take it to the judge and let the boy take his chances with 12 other jurors.
Maybe we should vote.
What do you mean, vote?
Not again.
Vote? I want to know, vote on what now?
Are we or aren't we a hung jury?
You mean we vote yes, we are a hung jury, or we vote no, we're not a hung jury?
That's just what I was thinking of.
I'm not sure we can even agree on whether or not we're a hung jury.
And agree whether or not the victor should be open.
Let's make it a majority vote. The majority wins.
All right, so if 7 or more of us vote yes, that we're a hung jury, we take it to the judge and we tell the judge that we're a hung jury. Is that right?
Yes, and if 7 or more of us vote no, then we're not a hung jury, and we continue discussing it.
That doesn't seem quite right to me.
It's the only solution.
I agree. It's the only way.
Anything to end this.
No objections?
Okay, let's call out our votes this time too.
All right, I vote yes, we're a hung jury. Number 2.
No.
3,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5,
No.
6,
No.
7,
Yes.
8,
No.
9,
No.
10,
Yes.
11,
No.
12,
Yes.
We didn't even get a majority to decide whether or not we're a hung jury.
I went along with a majority vote on this thing. I don't agree with voting this way. I didn't then, and I still don't. So I'm going to change my vote. I vote no, we're not a hung jury. But there are some things I want to know from some of you who changed your mind.
well, then we're not a hung jury. So
Why
go
did you
on.
change your mind?
Well, she seems so sure of herself, and she's made some pretty good points. And he just gets angry and insults people.
So does the anger and the insult from this guy change your mind about the guilt of the boy? He did do it. Are you going to turn a potential murderer loose out on the streets just because you think this guy gets mad when he thinks that you're turning a murderer loose?
Oh, that's true.
There is a doubt.
No, I don't think so. In front of the window, the L track was straight. Let's take that point for a second. So the L train would have made a low rumbling noise as it went past the window. When L trains go around curves, they make a screeching noise. So in this case, the old man could have heard a shriek, and that's also high-pitched.
Good, good, that's it. That's it.
And what if the old man was wrong about the amount of time it took him to get to the window, but he was right about what it was he saw downstairs, or who it was he saw downstairs? There weren't any fingerprints on that knife. And remember, this was the summertime, so it doesn't seem likely that somebody would have been using gloves.
Now I want you to listen to this guy. He's talking sense.
Also, it might have taken just a few seconds to wipe the fingerprints off wipe off the fingerprints off the knife with a handkerchief.
This is the point.
Why don't we just time this one too?
Just what are we timing?
Yes, let's be exact, please.
I'm saying that the old man may have been wrong about how long it took him to get downstairs, but he was right about who he saw running down the stairs. Now, it would have taken the murderer about 35 seconds or so to get the fingerprints off the knife and get down the stairs to the place where the old man saw him. The boy, that is.
This is right.
Let's stop this arguing. Who's got something constructive to say?
Weren't we just discussing reconstructing the crime scene? Wouldn't that make more sense to do
We
that?
reconstructed the old man getting out of bed and going to the door. And we timed. Well, let's reconstruct the actual crime.
Yes, let's reconstruct the killing.
As best we can reconstruct it.
I do think the murderer could have used up 30 to 40 seconds in that time.
Why don't you do the stabbing?
No, I'll do it.
Why don't you be the one that gets stabbed?
Come on.
And remember, you only take 1 second to fall.
All right. Remember, the old man was found on his right side, so please drop and roll on your right side, okay? Now, another thing we need to someone hated someone enough to kill them, don't you suppose the murderer would look down at the face of his victim for oh, just a second or two?
Try to divorce yourself from this particular case. Just basic human nature.
Yes, that seems reasonable.
Hey, now wait a minute. He was filmed on his right side. Now, stabbing someone isn't the same as shooting them, even when it's in the heart. He would have had a little time to work around on the floor. Riley, maybe.
Yeah. He probably would have, the old man would have had probably 2 or 3 seconds of oxygen left in the system to carry him around, maybe.
The father have to find out.
Maybe the boy held his mouth.
That's also possible.
And another thing that we need to bring up here, whoever did kill the old man, if he had the clarity of mind to wipe off the fingerprints from the knife, he was probably also clear-headed enough to look around the room and make sure that there were any clues that might throw him off or trip him up. It'd probably only be for a second or two, but I guarantee you he'd look.
This just gets better and better.
One doesn't worry about quality where murder is concerned. You time the last one. Would you be so kind as to time this one too, please? Slap the table when you want me to start.
I want to wait till the second hand. So,
I'm going to kill you. Now you would have whacked the knob on both sides of the door. Okay, stop.
okay, that's 29.5 seconds.
And whoever did murder the old man, I still think it was the boy, still had to run down the hallway and at least 1 flight of stairs. At least 1 flight.
You see? You see?
So I think it's reasonable to conclude that the old man, although he may have been wrong about the length of time it took him to get to the door, could still have been right about who he was, who we saw downstairs. In view of this, I think it's reasonable for us to assume that he did see the boy running away.
So now both time sequences check. The one you did and the one we did. What with running down the stairs and everything, it does pretty much check out on time.
So the story of the old man may very well have been right.
Except for the fact that he absolutely swore under oath that it was only 15 seconds.
But we all seem to agree that it was at least 25 to 35 seconds later.
So you are now saying that the old man lied in one case and told the truth in the other. I admit that this does tend to confirm the story of the old man. But in part, he is now a proven liar, and this by your own admission.
I think that the old man may have lied in part, but this is still enough to make me change my vote to guilty.
What about you? What do you think?
I don't know. I started believing guilty and then I swung around. I want more talk.
And you?
I'm now in doubt. Real doubt.
I say guilty. I was right the first time.
Now we're starting to make sense again.
One more question about the old man downstairs. Who here lives in an apartment building?
I don't know what you think, but I know that.
What's that?
I don't live in a tenement, but it is close enough. And there's just enough light in the hallways that you can see the stairs no more. The light bulbs are too small. And this murder took place in a tenement. Remember how we all stumbled on the steps?
And the policeman had changed out the small bulbs for big bulbs, and one even had a flashlight, remember?
So an old man who was off in the time by at least 20 seconds, we all agree to that. This old man looked down the dark hallway of the tenement and recognized a running figure.
He was 100% wrong about the time. It took twice as long as he thought.
So could not the old man be 100% wrong about who he saw?
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You're just making that up out of thin air.
Are you certain that there is no room for reasonable doubt?
Yes, I am.
Excuse me, but maybe you don't understand the meaning of reasonable doubt.
What do you mean I don't understand? Who are you to talk to me that way? Get a load of this face. She comes running for her life over here, and before she's taken a big breath, she's telling us how to live our lives. Nerve of her!
Whoa, hold on. Nobody's asking where you came from,
I was born right here.
or where your mother came from.
Maybe it wouldn't hurt us to take a few tips from people who come running.
Oh.
Maybe they learn something we don't know. We're not so perfect.
Please, I'm used to this. It's all right.
It's not all right.
Oh, okay, I apologize. Is that what you want?
It's what I want.
Come on, let's get on with this. Who's got something to say? Something constructive.
Well, there's something that's been bothering me about the stabbing, about the angle of it, you know.
Don't tell me we're going to start that again. They went over it and over it in the court.
I know, but you don't go along with that. The boy was 5'8", and the father was 6'2". That's 6 inches difference in height. And it seems to me that it would be a really difficult thing to stab into the chest of someone who is 6 inches taller than you are.
Look, you're not going to be satisfied till you see it again. So I'm going to give you a demonstration. Somebody get up. Okay? Now pay attention. I don't want to have to do this again. Now is that about 6 inches?
That's more than 6 inches.
Let it be more. Everyone calm now? What's the matter with you?
No, nobody's hurt.
Now take a look. There's your angle. Down and in. That's how I stab someone who's taller than I am. And that's how it was done. Go on, take a look. Tell me I'm wrong.
Down and in, I guess there was no argument.
Did you ever stab anyone?
No, of course not.
Did you?
Now let's not be silly.
Did you?
No, I didn't.
Then where do you get all your information about how it's done?
What do you mean? It's just common sense.
Have you ever seen a person stabbed?
No.
All right, let me ask you something. The boy was an experienced knife fighter. He was even sent to reform school for knife fighting, right?
That's right.
Take a look at this. Doesn't that seem like an awkward way to handle a knife?
What are you asking me for?
Wait a second. What's the matter with me? Give me that knife.
Have you seen a knife fight?
Yes, I have.
In the movies?
My backyard, my stoop, the vacant lot across the street. Too many of them. Switch knives came with the neighborhood where I lived. Find out that I didn't think about before. I guess you try to forget those things. Anyone who's ever handled a switch knife would never stab downward. You don't handle a switch knife that way. You use it underhanded.
So he couldn't have made the kind of wound that killed his father.
I suppose it's conceivable that he could have made a wound, but it's not likely. Not if he never had any experience with switch knives. And we know that the boy had a lot of experience with switch knives.
I don't believe it.
Neither do I. You're giving us a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
How about you?
Listen, I'll tell you, I'm pretty sick of this whole thing already. I wish we would just quit arguing and go home.
Before we decide anything more, I'd like to try to pull this all together.
This should be good.
She has a right. Let her go ahead.
Do you want me to time this too?
I'm in advertising. I love seeing things pulled together. Makes for good layouts.
Come on, let's hear her.
Let's try to look and see the whole picture and see if some pattern is there.
Maybe we could try getting a fresh point of view?
I want you all to look at this logically and consistently.
We have. Guilty.
I want to know, is the boy smart or is the boy dumb?
What do you mean?
This is a boy who's gone to reform school for knife fighting. On the night of the murder, he buys a switch knife. It would then take a very stupid boy to go and murder a man, his own father, with an instrument that everyone would associate with the son.
I quite agree. He's dumb.
However, if he were dumb, then why did he make the kind of wound that an inexperienced man would make?
Well, I'm not sure I understand.
To murder someone must take a great emotion, great hatred. And at that moment, you would handle the knife as best you could. An experienced knife fighter would handle it as he'd been trained, underhand. Someone who has not been trained would go overhand. The boy is being very smart. Everyone knows he's an experienced knife fighter. So at that moment, he makes the kind of wound that an amateur would make. That boy is a smart one. Smart enough to wipe the fingerprints away. Smart enough to even wait for an L train to go by to cover the noise. Now, is the boy smart or is he dumb?
Hey, now wait a minute.
The woman across the L tracks, she saw the murder through the L train, so somebody on the train could have seen the murder too.
A possibility, but no one did that we know of.
It would take a very dumb man to take that chance. Doing a murder when the train went by?
Exactly. A dumb man, a very stupid man, a man swept by emotion. Probably he heard nothing. Probably he didn't even hear the train coming. And whoever did murder the father did it as best he could.
So?
The boy is dumb enough to do everything possible to associate himself with a switch knife murder. And then a second after the murder, he becomes smart. He's smart enough to make a kind of wound that would lead us to suspect someone else. And then at the same instant, though, he's dumb enough to do the murder as an L train is going by. But then a second later, he becomes smart again and wipes the fingerprints away. To make this boy guilty, you have to say he is dumb from about 8 o'clock until midnight, then smart 1 second, then dumb for a few seconds, then smart again, and then he becomes stupid. So stupid he does not even think of a good alibi. Now, is the boy smart or is the boy dumb? To make this boy guilty, you have to toss his intelligence like a pancake. There is doubt. Doubt. Doubt.
I hadn't thought of that.
And the old man downstairs, on the stand, he swore that it was 15 seconds. He insisted on 15 seconds. But we all agree it must have been almost 40 seconds.
So does the old man lie half the time and tell the truth the other half of the time?
To make this boy guilty, you have to say he is dumb, then smart, then dumb, then smart, and so on. And also for the boy to be guilty, the old man downstairs must be a liar half of the time, and the other half of the time he tells the truth. You can reasonably doubt.
I think I'm so dumb, reasonable doubt.
I am too.
I want another vote.
All right, another vote's been called for. I guess the easiest way, the quickest way is a show of hands. Anyone object? All right, all those voting not guilty, raise your hands. 9. Okay, all those voting guilty? 3. It's 9-3 in favor of acquittal.
I don't understand you people. How can you believe that this boy is innocent? Look, you know how these people lie. I don't have to tell you. And they don't need a real good reason to kill somebody either. They start drinking and bang, somebody's laying in the gutter. Nobody blames them, because that's how they are. You know what I'm saying? They're violent. Human life don't mean the same to them as it does to us. What are you doing? Look, these people are always drinking and fighting. If somebody gets killed, yeah, so somebody gets killed. They don't care. I've known a few that have some pretty good characteristics, but and I've even known a couple that were pretty decent. But they were the exception. It's like they have no feelings. They can do anything. Look, let's think about this boy that's on trial. These people are violent.
trying to tell you something. I have heard just about enough of your bigotry and your hate, so shut your filthy mouth and don't let me hear you open it again, or else. All right, people, please take your seats. Please sit down. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think the boy is guilty, and I'll tell you why. There's still the testimony of the woman downstairs who looked out across the street and saw him do it.
That's right. It's the most important testimony.
All right. Well, let's go over her testimony. What exactly did she say?
Well, I think I can recount that accurately. Let's see. She said she went to bed about 11 o'clock that night. Her bed was right next to the window, and she could look directly out that window and see into the window across the street. She tossed and turned. It was a hot night. She wasn't able to sleep for a little over an hour. Finally, about 12:10 a.m., she turned toward the window, and as she looked out the window, she saw the boy stab his father. Now, as far as I can see, that testimony is unshakable.
That's just what I've been saying. It's the whole case.
What time is it?
You know, frankly, in view of this, I just don't see how you can vote for acquittal. What do you think?
Maybe there's so much evidence to sift.
What do you mean, maybe? He's absolutely right. You can throw out all the other evidence.
That was my feeling. I don't deny the validity of the good points that she's made. She's made a lot of them. Shall we say that on one side of the tracks there is doubt? But what can you say about the testimony of the woman? She saw him do it.
What time is it? What time is it?
About 10 to 6.
Don't suppose they'd let us get off and let's do this tomorrow morning? My little girl's sick, she has the mumps.
Not a chance.
Can't you see the clock without your glasses?
Not clearly.
Oh.
Glasses are a nuisance, aren't they?
Oh, my.
So what do you all do when you wake up at night and want to know what time it is?
I put on my glasses and I look at the clock.
I lie in bed and I wait for the clock to chime.
Do you wear your glasses to bed?
No, no one wears glasses to bed.
The woman who testified that she saw the killing wears glasses. What about her?
Did she wear glasses?
Yes, she wore glasses, bifocals. I remember this.
Funny.
That's,
Sure.
I never saw that.
Bifocals. And she never took them off.
I never thought of that.
I think it's safe to conclude that she wasn't wearing her glasses in bed. And I don't think she put them on and glanced casually out the window. She testified that the murder took place the instant she looked out, and then the lights went out a split second later. She couldn't have had time to put on her glasses then. Now, perhaps this woman honestly thought she saw the boy stab his father. I say she just saw a blur.
How do you know what she saw? Maybe she's farsighted. How does she know all these things?
Is there anybody here who still does not think there is a reasonable doubt?
Well, I always wondered, but there is a doubt.
I say he's guilty.
Is anyone else?
No, I'm convinced now. There is a reasonable doubt.
You're alone.
11 votes not guilty, 1 guilty.
I don't care if I'm alone. I have a right.
Yes, you have a right.
Well, I told you, I think he's guilty. What else do you want?
Your arguments.
I gave you my arguments.
We're not convinced. We want to hear them again. We have time.
Listen, what is the matter with you? You're the one who made all the arguments. You can't turn now. The guilty man is going to be walking the streets, a murderer. He's got to die. Stay with me.
I'm sorry. I don't think I'm wrong very often, but I guess I was this one time. There is reasonable doubt in my mind.
We're waiting.
You're not going to sway me! I'm entitled to my opinion! It's going to be a hung jury! That's it!
And there's nothing we can do about that except hope that some night in a few months from now, you might be able to get some sleep.
You're all alone.
It takes a great deal of courage to stand alone.
And if there is a hung jury, there will be a mistrial. And some of us here will be pointing these things out to the various lawyers